Moving
Sure.
moving past the Dan Schneider thing, I am curious about what you were beginning to touch on with Jamie Spears. Brittney Spears' sister was one of your co-stars, right?
Yes. Yeah, Jamie was Zoe.
Oh, so Jamie Spears was the main character of this show, and you were
Yeah.
playing like her best friend.
Yeah, and her
Okay,
roommate.
okay. And I understand that you guys had some conflict on set.
We did. I still don't really understand what the conflict was exactly, but she just didn't seem to really uh like me from day one. The first day that I met her, I went up to her, I remember, and just being super excited. And I was a very bubbly young girl, like very talkative, a little bit like my character Nicole, definitely. It's probably why I got the role. It wasn't hard for me to play her.
Hmm.
And she was just very uh taken aback by my personality, I think,
Hmm.
and just kind of gave me the cold shoulder. And I just thought, you know what? Honestly, maybe she's shy. Also, maybe she's experienced a whole bunch of different people coming up to her just for the fact that she's Britney Spears' sister.
Hmm.
So at first, I wasn't really taking it personally, but I did notice it right away. And then it just slowly escalated where there was no interaction between her and I. She wouldn't even respond to me. She wouldn't even sit with us at lunch sometimes. I wasn't invited to go sit with them at lunch in her trailer, and it just started to snowball basically. And then it became bullying where she would just say harsh things, to me like why do you smile so much, like this kid bully
Right.
shit basically. And but at that time it hurt.
Well,
I was a kid,
it sounds like
so
not only didn't it hurt, but it almost seems like other people on set
yeah.
were kind of forced to go along with her. Like when you say you went in the
Yes.
office and got said, and Dan Schneider was like, "You're not Zoe."
Yeah.
That sounds like something that probably he was influenced by something Jamie said.
Yeah, the culture is definitely, that's why, whoever's the first person on the call sheet, especially back then, there was that power dynamic. And that was kind of the person who everyone didn't want to get on their bad side, basically. And so she kind of created the culture of the set. And her not liking me made everyone else kind of feel like I think they had to also engage in that type
Right.
of behavior. And so it was just, but it was sad because I just wanted to be friends with everybody. And it was just, it was just this wall, to the point where they ended up getting rid of one of the girls on the show in the first season because of the bullying experience.
So she
That was
was doing
happening.
this to other people as well.
Well, no, this girl was actually doing it with her to me.
And so why did she leave?
I mean, they let her go
Because she was so
because
mean.
yeah,
Holy
it was
crap.
creating, she pushed me into a rock at one point in one of the
What
episodes.
the heck?
And yeah, it got like it was just really bad. It sucks. Like it was just not a good time, honestly. And so yeah, they ended up having to let her go. And that's when they hired Victoria Justice for the second season. And I was stoked about that because strangely enough, her mom dated my dad, my uncle, like when they were in college. So there was like some kind of connection. And so I thought that that was going to make the culture different on set because maybe me and Victoria would actually be friends, and that would create a different environment. And it did actually. Like we were best friends for the better half of the second season. And then all the girl dynamic culture, mean girl situation ended up happening again with her and Jamie to the point where that's when the Britney Spears experience happened
So
because
you're saying that Victoria was getting in trouble with Jamie, or that they were
yeah,
bullying? So they were
they were bullying me.
okay.
Yeah, so at one point like Victoria and I were totally fine. And then I don't know what happened. I think it was like literally a boy conversation. Like I remember it being something so teenage girl
Mm.
about a boy. And then I show up to set the next day and I remember opening up the makeup trailer and seeing, Victoria like turn around and like laugh and then whisper into Jamie's ear and they were like laughing. It was like so
Horrible.
yeah, so
It,
and it
it
ridiculous too at
sounds
the
silly,
same
but I
time.
know it's so painful when you're that
It
age.
is.
Yeah, it's so painful.
You think the whole world is against you, really. If it's so, does anyone like me? It's hard. And so, and you're on set and you can't, in those environments, you're not allowed to be human. Like kids weren't allowed to be human. You were supposed to be professional. And
Right.
professional basically meant robotic. You don't want to ruin the set vibe.
Hmm.
And so you had to hold it all in, which was really hard for me. And so that ended up happening and it escalated the last like 2.5 weeks of the second season to the point where that's when Brittney ended up coming onto the set.
So I understand this kind of all culminated when Brittney Spears, someone that you were a big fan of,
Yes.
Jamie's sister, came on
Yeah.
set and she had heard from her sister about, what a terrible person you were. And she
Yes.
screamed at you on set. Is that right?
In the
Or in
trailer.
the trailer?
So there was this guy named Ian who was our talent coordinator. And sometimes, your parents don't come with you always to and from set or to and from makeup and hair. There would be basically a talent coordinator who was your guardian, that actually him and the school teacher, they would be like your guardians if your parents weren't there on set.
Mm-hmm.
And so Ian came to the trailer and it was a typical day. He just said, "Hey, I'm going to bring Alexa to makeup and hair." My mom said, "Okay, fine." I went with Ian. I remember him kind of acting a little bit strange as we were walking. And then he goes, "Hey, Brittney and Jamie would like to talk to you in the trailer." And a little bit of me was actually kind of hopeful that maybe that Brittney was going to come in and it was going to create some kind of mediation and maybe Jamie was willing to sit down and talk to me for once, which is all I ever wanted, was just like a nice conversation to understand one another. And so in that moment, I'm thinking Brittney's going to be that person. I couldn't imagine Brittney not being that person at that time. She was like an idol, like as a kid. So I remember going, okay. And then we went over to the trailer and I remember knocking on the door and then opening it. And right when I went to turn, Ian like fled. He just
So
disappeared.
this guy's looking out for your welfare and he
Yeah,
just tossed you to the sharks.
100%. Like that. And that happens a lot on these sets. Like who's working for who really, sometimes, you're just like, it was child endangerment,
100,
honestly.
yeah, because his interests are not aligned with yours by
No,
just by the definition of his job, it seems like.
no.
Was
And
that
also,
was this the first time you met Brittney Spears?
no, I mean,
Okay.
she came on set a few times. So
Okay.
like I saw, and she was always really nice. So that's why I really didn't think anything was strange. She was always so friendly every time she was coming onto set. And that's why I always say, like, imagine though if it wasn't, thank God it was just Britney Spears in that fucking trailer. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Thank God it wasn't a predator in that trailer. That's how I started to think, like, wow, that guy just literally tossed me. God only knows what could have happened to me in that trailer. Thank God it was just Britney Spears. Thank God. So yeah, anyways, I go into the trailer and I just remember before I even hit the last step, Jamie runs to the back of the trailer, just like bails on whatever the hell is about to happen. So that's made me a little bit nervous, but I stepped in anyways. And I remember I stepped in and Brittney comes beside me and locks the trailer door. And she just starts, I think she was like 8 months pregnant at the time. She was about me right now.
So you came in and then
Yeah.
Brittany locked the door behind you?
Yeah.
That's pretty ominous.
It was freaky. But now when I look back at it, I know the whole, situation that was happening. It makes sense, but it still obviously wasn't okay. None of that was okay that happened, but it makes a lot more sense now than it did then. Then it was just really, 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 really scary. And so I remember she just started yelling at me, telling me that I was bullying her sister. And I wanted to say something. And I just remember like literally feeling my throat, just close. I couldn't even speak. And I tried and I just started to cry and like hyperventilate. And she was like, "I'm going to make sure you don't work again." And
That's wild.
I was like, "Oh my God, Britney Spears hates me," and as a kid, that now even made it so much worse. Now I have this idol of mine at that age, also now just hating my guts. And there's no one there protecting me. Ian bailed on me. My mom doesn't even know where I am. And it was really, really fucking scary. I just remember tunnel vision mode and like going back to the door because I fell a little bit backwards to like the couch area. And I remember getting up and just trying to find the door and then realizing it was locked again and having to unlock it. And then once I opened the door, I puked.
Oh my
Like
God.
it was so much, for my like
Did they see? I
brain.
wonder, did Brittany see you puke?
Yeah, no, definitely.
Did
I
she
mean,
say
I
anything?
no one said, and no one cared.
They're like, that's normal.
Yeah.
This little girl just
Kids
puked from
puke.
being bullied and stressed and like tortured.
Yeah. Yeah. And I ran to my trailer, I remember. And, for a mom, like when I came in, my mom was just like, what the fuck? I'm hyperventilating. I just puked. I run to the toilet and I'm like literally in fetal position, just like rocking myself, basically, just being like, I can't even explain. I remember her screaming, just saying, what happened? Like, please just tell me what happened. I couldn't. I was in total shutdown mode. And I just remember my mom opening the trailer door and screaming like Dan and like anyone and like Ian, and no one came
Wow.
for about 10 to 15
And
minutes.
she was like
And
screaming. They would have heard her.
yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. It was like a mom scream, like Mama Bear. Like it's like everyone, it maybe in Mars they heard, she
You know
was
what?
so loud.
They were probably getting their story straight before they came
You're
and
right.
talked to you guys.
You're totally right. Because they're like, this is a liability.
Mm-hmm.
Liability, liability.
And we
They didn't
have to
even
protect
care.
Jamie.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. And Brittany's gone. She left in the car. Um, and so I just remember hearing the trailer kind of move and people were coming up the steps. And here comes Dan Schneider with his sunglasses. And he looks at me and I'll never forget this. He goes, now what?
Huh?
Yeah.
He said,
Yeah.
now what? And how
Yeah.
did you interpret that to mean at the time?
Everything's my fault.
Oh, he's
No.
like, now another thing with you kind of thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I was
After
like,
15 minutes? What an asshole.
uh-huh, total asshole. And I just remember I wasn't able, for the first time ever, I'm a pretty talkative person. And I couldn't say anything. And I just remember looking at him and then my mom screaming at him and saying, like, Alexa's not going back onto set. He goes, one moment. And he leaves the trailer and he comes back 10 minutes later with one of those freaking, like those DVD players back in the day that were like those portable ones
Mhm.
with the screen and then you would just put the DVD in.
Yeah.
He literally comes back with one of those and he's like, here. Like as if that was like the trade, as if that was gonna make me. I remember holding the box.
He was giving it to you, like, take this and
Yeah.
shut up? The
Yeah.
fuck?
It was so weird. And like the lamest gift also. Like, what the fuck is this? I remember looking at it just going, am I supposed to say thank you? And my mom was livid and she's like, I'm not putting my daughter on the set. And he goes, oh, yes, you are. Like, we have to get this last shot. And contractually, Alexa has to go back on set. And I remember just kind of looking at all the adults on the floor. I was on the floor. I remember just looking up at them and just, I didn't matter that much in that situation. And sure enough, I had to go back onto set. And there's even a clip that someone found. It made it into the edit where the girls literally pushed me and shoved me on camera. Yeah, it went viral on TikTok actually.
Oh shit! I might
It
try to
ended up
find that.
in
that?
you guys should find it. It's wild. Like, and then someone like posted and was like, holy shit, like this is for real. Like you can actually see it's happening while they're filming. And so I had to go back on set and get bullied more and humiliated more by everyone. And that was my last day on the set of
Wow.
Zoe 101.
And by quitting the show, did they like come after you financially, or were they a pain in the ass, or were they easy?
No, they were easy because I think they were really afraid of the liability on the other end.
Right.
Like technically there was child endangerment that happened. There was a lot of things that happened that weren't supposed to happen, under their care. And so I think that's when they try to hold on for a minute, I remember, and then they accept it. And I'll never forget. You want to know the punishment?
Go ahead.
They had to add one more like cherry on top of the sundae. They said, we're letting Alexa go, but just tell her she is banned from every Kids' Choice Awards.
Oh no, not the Kids' Choice Awards. Still, that's so scummy. Like they're like, how do I hurt this kid more? No ice cream ever again.
Yeah, you're gonna stay in timeout forever. It was just like,
that's crazy.
What? Yeah. These were adults too.
Yeah.
These were adults saying shit like that. I'll never forget that. I went, okay. At the same time, I was like, I don't need to go to the Kids' Choice Awards again. Like, all right. But also, what a weird thing to add to the whole thing.
So, I guess fast forward to modern times. I think this was somewhat recently. Brittney Spears actually took to Twitter to make a really beautiful apology to you, right? Which was actually wow, really incredible to read.
It was incredible to read for me as well. Honestly, it's the only apology I've ever gotten in Hollywood.
Wow.
Which is really sad to say, and also kind of remarkable and amazing that it was Brittney Spears,
right,
who apologized. She mentioned me once and defended me, and I remember she said, you lied, just like you lied about Alexa Nikolas. And that I remember reading that on Instagram and just being like, what is,
Jeez.
It was like healing all these wounds.
Childhood guys, so
wounds.
Oh, sorry. I think I found the clip.
Did you?
I think so.
Are you watching Zoe 101, trying to see some evidence of Nicole being...
I'm trying to zoom in. Hold on. Let me see if I can get a closer look.
Get in there.
Kind of.
Bullied on the show. Mind you, I 100% believe her. I'm just looking for some clues, so I want you guys to pay attention to Quinn and Victoria right here. Boom. And let's slow-mo this so you guys can see the hit in the head, and then you see Quinn push her arm even further. Like, why? This girl was actually bullied on this show, y'all, and they want to reboot it. No.
Yeah, you can see my actual real life, that wasn't acting, my reaction.
Hold on, I gotta watch this again. So which one?
You're watching Zoe.
Which person are you here?
Trying to see some evidence.
I'm in the
Nicole
pink right there
being
next to the
bullied on
guy. So I'm like the brunette, not here, but
I'm just looking for some clues.
not here, there,
Okay,
in
with
the
the blue
pink
skirt.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Victoria right here. Boom. And let's slow-mo this so you guys can see the hit in the head, and then you see Quinn push her arm even further. Like, why? This girl was actually bullied on this show, y'all, and they want to...
Who's the girl that hit you?
Yeah, Erin Sanders. She played Quinn. She was just going along with the culture at the end. Like, I don't know what happened there, but I do remember that those last, couple of, I guess, weeks, she was kind of feeling invited into the girl circle. And that's what sucks about the culture there is everyone wanted to feel, you're a kid, you want to be seen, you want to be appreciated, you want to be loved. And so any of that was happening, kids were willing to not be the best versions of themselves just to receive being seen. And so that kind of happened there towards the end with Erin. But Erin wasn't really someone who participated much in the whole bullying with me. But towards the end, there was a little bit of that. And you can see I'm shocked. I turn around.
Yeah.
I'm like, why are you hitting my... And that episode was the Britney Spears week.
Ooh.
And that was the last scene I think I ended up doing. And they would literally get the squirt guns and they were trying to get it in my eye and laughing at me.
God, that's horrible, man.
Gnarly.
It's like being forced to be with your bullies. I feel like we've all experienced bullying to some degree in school and just how bad it feels. You're being forced to spend all day with them.
All day. And also you're getting paid. It's a weird...
Right.
You know what I mean? As a kid, it's you're getting paid and then you're having to deal with them and you don't want to be seen as problematic. And you get told as a kid, if you speak up too much, you might not work again. So you have these weird pressures that just, I don't think you necessarily have in high school. It's a different type of pressure.
Yeah. Do you mind if I read this tweet from Brittney?
Yeah, sure.
So here, I'm just going to read it. It's not super long, but I thought it was really nice. This
Me
is
too.
after her falling out with her family.
Yes.
So she's like, "Oh, my sister's like not the best. Her sister kind of sucks." And I think it was probably, well, she talks about it in the letter. Here, I'll just read it.
Hmm.
It broke my heart to see your interview about your experience in the business. Hollywood is a place of dreams, but let's be honest. On rare occasions, do people come out years later and share the dark side? There are thousands of people with broken dreams, and I am absolutely in awe of you raising awareness for the next generation on how to be protected. The one thing you said you wish you could have told your younger self is that you wish you could have known you could have just walked away. I find that really an interesting insight there.
Hmm.
You would have left sooner. That's like you're looking back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Countless times I did the same thing and I took the abuse. It's nice to know I'm not the only one who has felt that way. I know it's 15 years later what you are sharing, but trust me, I know it still matters. Although I have apologized to you personally just by instinct, my heart at the time didn't know how incredibly good my family was at the acting language. Just imagine me visiting my little sister on set, last day of shooting, bringing sprinkle cupcakes, 9 months pregnant, hormone raging like hell, and the assistant director, Ian, witnesses Jamie Lynn running to me, placing her hands on my knees while I'm sitting down, her sobbing, telling me that she's just been bullied on set. The assistant director and my mom, included in the room, were just silent. My sister was literally like my daughter growing up, so I apologize for my ignorance for yelling at you when I obviously had no idea what was really going on. Jesus Christ, I was pregnant, and let's be honest, all these moms and dads, the watchful white owls who hide behind the scenes observing their children's stars, referring to my mother who should have immediately stepped in and took over the situation. And I told my 9-month pregnant self to sit down, relax, and have a sprinkled cupcake. They should have treated me like a guest because that's exactly what I was. It's always been extremely interesting, the situations my family's put me in to make me embarrassed. I know you have probably heard what happened to me 3 years ago. I wrote 3 different versions of a book, and since then, honestly, it's been the hardest thing I've ever had to do. And if you haven't heard already, it's become a joke because TMZ says I'm running out of paper. I'm also sure they get a good laugh at seeing me on my Instagram. What was done to me is frankly beyond all. The way you spoke gave me strength and inspiration. I do write you this message today because I am sorry for ever hurting your feelings. You should tell Nickelodeon to kiss your ass. I get the feeling that Brittney did understand when she said, I know it was 15 years ago, but I know it still matters. And that probably rang true for you, right?
Very much so.
Yeah.
Because especially as a survivor of, essay, not even the bully stuff, a lot of the time you get backlash of this happens, X amount of time. Like Justin Long loved to remind me, how many decades ago it was. And I think survivors get that a lot, and when you're a sensitive person, you get that a lot. Like, why this was so long ago? Why does this matter to you? Move on, basically. So to hear someone understand that, your feelings are valid, it's okay that it still hurts. And it's okay that there's still a wound there. I think all of us deserve to hear that. Like, all of our feelings of sadness are honestly should be validated in some way. So that was big for me. That was like, I never expected that.
Right.
And it made me feel very good.
Very validating. Because I'm sure there's probably a lot of people who are like, oh, she's lying about everything.
Yes. Oh, yeah. That happens. That happens a lot with me. That's what Marty Singer or whatever, Jonah Hill's lawyer, you're a serial accuser.
Right. I remember he said that about you. Although Britney Spears statement gives like, yo, that should happen.
Yeah.
That was really good that she did that. Was that a healing moment for you?
It was very healing for me. I cry even when you were reading it now. Right. Because it feels very good. It feels very good. I would hope that my kids, got to experience that from someone that bullied them, because it's intense when someone bullies you.
Britney Spears too.
Yes. Yeah. And she I think we both have seen some dark sides of our industry. And I think she's also commendable because she's also spoken out in ways that has inspired me to do the things that I'm doing, like with Predators. honestly, a lot of that strength came from reading a lot of Britney Spears, Instagram captions about how she was going up against a lot of these powerful institutions that were representing her at the time, like TriStar, etc. I was like, whoa, I've never seen that before, especially a woman, So you're like, damn.
Have you guys ever connected?
She DM'd me.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, she first DM'd me personally before she did it publicly.
That's nice. That's really nice.
Yeah, it was really nice. And I was fine with that. I didn't share it, obviously, with any, I didn't put it anywhere.